Hello everyone, welcome to Learn a Trade. And today I'm on a call on a Cornelius Viper machine. This is an older model unit. I haven't worked on these in for some time now, but they apparently have a leak. Looks like it may be a expansion tank or bladder tank that's ruptured and it's leaking. So I'm gonna try to get this thing set up so I can work on it. Is the bladder tanks are around the back, so I have two new bladder tanks, and I'm gonna have to rebuild the regulator, which is on the left side here. The regulator valve had some syrup that leaked through, so that's possibly built up with syrup and sugar deposits and stuff like that. So that'll need to be either cleaned out or replaced. So give me a moment to get this all set up, and then we'll see what we get. Okay, I'm over on the right side of the machine. This is the expansion tanks. These the syrup goes through these expansion tanks, and it has CO2 pressure on one side, and the syrup and the pressure from the CO2 pushes the syrup through. Now, what it seems like is, from what I've been told, the leak is coming from this expansion tank right here, which is for the blue raspberry flavor. So that's the third barrel. So you have two expansion tanks on the far end there for barrels 1 and 2, and then 2 on this side closer to the camera on barrels 3 and 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace barrel expansion tank number 3 and see if that will remedy the problem. So I'll have to change this out first, and then I'll be changing out or taking out the regulator, which is on the far end over here, and I'll be taking that regulator out to see what condition it's in, because it's had a lot of syrup go through there, and there should not be any syrup in that system at all. It should just be CO2. So got to get that all cleared out. Got to clear out all the liquid that's in the CO2 line in the system here, and then go from there to clean the regulator out, and then we'll see what we get. Okay, I just want to try to show you what I'm seeing. This is the CO2 inlet line. It goes into the water pump right here. I removed that so that I can try to remove some of the syrup that's in the line. Give me a second. Just grab a rag here so I could kind of show you. You see the plunger, the white plunger here. I'm going to push that, and you'll see the liquid, all the liquid come out. So I'm going to have to empty that liquid out of the lines, just to be sure that I have all of the liquid out of the line, and then I'll go ahead and clean up that regulator and replace this bib pump. I'm sorry, bladder tank right here. So I'll get that going. So it turns out that the leak, the bad bladder tank, is not the one that I was informed of earlier. I disconnected what I did was I disconnected the CO2 line, which is where if it were leaking from there, the liquid would come out of this CO2 port right here. So when I disconnected that tank over there, it was dry. And then I noticed that the line that was going to it, this line right here, there was liquid inside that line, and this should only be CO2 in here. So the liquid that was inside this line was actually coming from this valve, which is the number one valve. And the way I could tell was the color of the liquid. The liquid was a greenish color coming out of this tube. So that's showing me that it must be this expansion tank that's leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this line, and I should get a little amount, a small amount of liquid that comes out of here, or it might be it depends on how much is stored in the tank. But if it is some liquid in there, it's going to come out of here. So I'm going to try and move this line, but you should be able to see the liquid coming out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it kind of vent out a little bit before I remove the whole piece, because I don't want to get too much more leakage in this area. And then I'm going to disconnect. There's two connections in the back with the syrup inlet and outlet. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can disconnect those. And then that way when I disconnect this line here, I'll be able to just pull that out without it getting too much liquid all over the place. So just give me a moment. Okay, got that. The bladder tank is out. I'm just going to show you. This should be the air side, so there should only be air over on this side of the bladder tank. The liquid comes in on this side and is pumped out. It's pumped out of one side and out of this side into the barrels. So this should just be air coming into here and pushing. There's a diaphragm inside of these bladder tanks, and that diaphragm keeps the air on that side and the liquid on this side of the bladder tank. So when the diaphragm inside there ruptures, the liquid comes through, then it goes into the CO2 line and travels throughout the whole CO2 system there. So I'm going to show you right here. Should be no liquid coming out, and you can see how much liquid we have there. I'm just going to let that sit in the sink, and then I'll dispose of it later on. Because I like to get this all complete. So right now I have the whole bladder tank for barrel number one out. Before it was said that the barrel number 3 was the one with the bad bladder tank, but that was because they were going by the, which they should have, going by the color that was coming out, that they seen. And the issue with that was that the color looked blue to them, but actually it was the green, which was Mountain Dew flavor, and that was mixing with an old syrup that had spilled in the back that didn't get cleaned up, so it was mixing. So it was kind of like a bluish green color. So anyone would think that it was the blue raspberry. But I checked that blue raspberry, and there are no leaks coming out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the new bladder tank in place, and then clean out this valve. Let me just show you. Excuse the movement, but this regulator valve here, the regulator right here, this is where the syrup was all coming in there. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little vent hole down there, and it was spewing out of the side, and then they were getting leakage all through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble this valve a little later after I get the bladder tank in, and then I'm going to clean it up if it's not damaged or anything, or if it's damaged, I'll have to see if I can replace get a rebuild kit to replace the plunger and the seals and stuff like that. So it shouldn't be in too bad shape, but I think it might just need a cleaning. So that's another thing that I'm going to do, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and get it back in place, get the whole machine back in place, and get the barrel started and make sure there's no more leaks. Okay, I'm back on the other side now in the rear of the machine. Just wanted to show you, if you remember earlier, this is the inlet CO2, and I had liquid coming out. I just wanted to show you now. That's how it should be. Should be no liquid in that line. So now I'm going to go ahead and put that back into the pump, and then we should be able to get this thing started back up. So just give me a second. I'm going to shut my CO2 off just to give me a... I'm going to let all that CO2 drain out. That way I can get it into the water pump a little easier too, without all of that CO2 blowing around. Okay, got CO2 back in place. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Okay, just a little bit. I'm going to turn on my water line, and then turn on my CO2, and then I'm going to go ahead and start it up, let the barrels fill, and see what we get. As some of you may be familiar with these Viper machines, these Cornelius Viper units, you may know that this one is an older model. So I was anticipating having a little a little trouble with this, but it doesn't seem too bad so far. So I'm saying so far because we never know what can happen. But as we'll see. I mean, this, in my opinion, these Vipers have an awkward design to it, I should say. I don't know how else to put it, really. I mean, as far as the design of it, it just doesn't fit right with me as far as being a technician working on it. So that's just my opinion. But most techs I talk to really feel the same. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this going, and so I can get up out of here. Give me a second. Okay, so I have the unit back up and running. All 4 barrels are operating right now. I've allowed this barrel, this is the barrel here, the Mountain Dew, that was leaking, and I have no signs of leakage, because usually the leakage will come out of this vent port right down here, and that's looking good, especially after each barrel has filled up. And just to let you know, this regulator here, this machine has multiple regulators. It has regulators in the front section for all 4 barrels, and this regulator here is for the main CO2, but you usually want to have this around between 30 to 40 psi. This one here, I'm going to bring it up to 35. That's just because it's an older unit, and these older units usually were good at 35 to 40 psi. The valves in the front, I really don't have time to take off the front cover right now and stuff, because I still got to get this unit in place and get this buttoned up so I can head to another call. But the valves in the front, they're usually between 30 to 40 psi. So I'm going to adjust those and then get this, go ahead and let this freeze down and get it back in place and cleaned up a little bit. Just give me a moment. Okay, so this unit is back up and running. There are no leaks at all. Everything is frozen down, and I'm gonna wrap this up right now. I have another job site to get to, but I just wanted to share this with you all. I hope this was helpful in some way. Please let me know in comments, as always. And I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for all of your support. Appreciate you. Thank you. Take care. God bless.